You guys ready now? All right, let's do this. Okay. I call the meeting to order for the March 25th regular city council meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
The record will reflect that all members of council are present.
Terrific. Now's the time for the invocation by Reverend Dr. George Akuziu, St. John the Divine Episcopal Church. Is he here? Okay. Pull it up. So he's not here. Okay, I'll do it. All right, please bow your heads. Lord, thank you for the gathering. Thank you for the ability to make decisions for our residents. Please give us knowledge, wisdom, and discernment. We ask that you guide us and watch over those who protect us. We thank you for the continued blessings. Amen. All right, Councilman Grant, why don't you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
My pleasure. Please join me in the pledge to the flag of our great nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, great. So now's the time for presentations. The first presentation is going to be on theme for this, what we're doing this year. Where's Seymour Beak? Is he here? Oh my God, is that for real? Okay, we'll skip it. We'll come back to it. We'll do a proclamation recognizing the National Library Week. So I'll read the proclamation, and then I can have Chase Reef, Chair of the Board of Library Trustees, come forward to say a few words as well. Okay? And then we'll do a photo. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, so whereas libraries spark creative, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. And libraries serve as a vibrant community hubs connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. Libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of their communities, developing and expanding collection programs and services that are as diverse as the populations they serve. Libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEM programs, STEAM programs. Is it STEAM now? STEAM. All right, here we go. STEAM programs and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. Libraries play a pivotal role in economic development, providing resources and support for the job seekers, entrepreneurs, small businesses, thus contributing to local prosperity and growth. Libraries are an essential public good and fundamental institutions in democratic societies, working to improve the community, protecting the right of education and literacy, and promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Libraries, library workers across the country are joining together as we celebrate National Library Week. So now, therefore, I, Joe Stapleton, the mayor of the city of Newport Beach, on behalf of the entire city council, do hereby proclaim April 6th to the 12th, 2025 as National Library Week. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're so blessed to have such a great library system here in the city and such great support from our council that funds it. But Melissa, our library service director.
Mayor Stapleton, Council, thank you so much for this recognition, for your continued support of our libraries. I just want to take a moment to also let you know that we have with us Vice Chair Antonella Castro from the Board of Library Trustees and our senior library staff, Library Services Manager Rebecca Lightfoot, Adult Services Coordinator Andrew Kachaturian, and Branch and Youth Services Coordinator Annika Helmuth. This year's theme is Drawn to the Library, and we hope that whatever draws you in, that you come and visit and celebrate with us during National Library Week. Thank you.
Terrific. Awesome. Thank you. We'll do a photo. All right.
No, I have a proposition for you. Oh, sure. For a project. A good project, a fun thing. Exciting, right?
Yeah, would you? I would, but I got to focus on. All right, we good? All right, let's go. Okay, next up, we're going to recognize recognition of Newport Mesa Unified School District students. So let's begin with, let's recognize the Corona Del Mar High School girls golf team. I think Coach Brian Middleton's here. There we go. Come on up, yeah. Coach, you want to introduce who's with you and give us a little bit of background?
This is the girls varsity golf team this year from CDM. We got Adriana, Lana, Jiswan, Soph, Bailey. We got Ella. We got Sky, and we have Anika.
Nice. Congratulations. So this is a varsity golf team.
This is varsity golf
Good.
team. Yes,
How was the season?
it was a great season.
Yeah?
We ended up with the CIF Division IV championship.
Fantastic. Well done. Yeah, that is a dream team for sure. Did you guys attend the Hogue Classic last weekend?
Yes.
How incredible was that? Jimenez birding a non-bogey round, on getting a 67, I think, and
That was great.
winning the tournament. So cool. Okay. Anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the city of Newport Beach, Newport Mesa Unified School District, Corona Del Mar, our principal Jay Cayley, athletic director Brian Walsh. Just incredible that CDM girls golf was able to bring the first CI championship to the city of Newport Beach and to our district for Newport Mesa Unified School District.
First one ever.
First one ever.
Wow, congratulations. All right, well, terrific. That deserves a round of applause. All right, yeah, we'll do a photo. Should we do it up here? Yeah, okay, we'll do it in the middle.
Thank you, Sky.
Okay, that's great. It's all about celebrate Newport this year, so we have a lot to celebrate. Okay, next up, we're going to recognize the Newport Harbor High School boys water polo team, Coach Ross Sinclair. Why don't you come up, introduce the boys, and you guys just stay seated. Let's have Coach do this. Talk about what's going on and all that you guys have accomplished.
All right.
Yeah.
We were CIF champions, national champions, won every game that mattered, won the 3 major tournaments. It was a fantastic season. These guys embody everything that Newport Beach is, and I'm really proud of what they did. It was incredible, and we don't have a home pool right now, so the whole year we were playing at Estancia and Costa Mesa as our pool's getting renovated. So we set a school record for 34 wins on the road, which hopefully will never be broken. But yeah, it was, again, amazing season, great senior leadership, top to bottom, really good kids, great coaching staff. Not touting myself, my assistant coaches are very special and great at what they do. But yeah, it's a fantastic year.
That's incredible. National championship, state championship, and most wins on the road. Well done, boys. Congratulations. Very proud. Any photo? Yeah. Okay, Seymour, here you go. I had you teed up, ready to go. I was going to give the high school students a history lesson, but we went ahead with the agenda. So
Sorry to be here so late, but I got undergrounded on Balboa Island.
Oh, you're going to blame that on us, huh?
I left home half an hour ago.
I think that's the
There's a
only
lot going on
excuse.
there.
That's the only excuse that would work. Well, Seymour, obviously, you're a man who needs no introduction, but I'm just so happy to have you here as the theme for 2025. It's all about Celebrate Newport, the history of the people and the projects, and it's very fitting with all that you've accomplished and your family and everything you guys have done. And I mean, you talk about the Mount Rushmore in Newport Beach. The big family is on there, and obviously, I don't know how many Citizen of the Years your family has, but there's a lot of them in there. And we're just so proud that you're here. And Seymour Beek is going to give us a history of the Balboa Island Ferry. So you have some slides to go through, and I look forward to hearing them. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be here to give this exciting history of
Yes.
the Balboa Island Ferry. You can flip on the next slide. I like this picture for a couple of reasons. First of all, those signs that you see there, the auto ferry sign, there's a similar sign over on Balboa Island that says, "Welcome to Balboa Island." Those signs were designed by my former wife, Sandy, and I like to give her credit for that because it's good to maintain good family relations.
Fair enough.
And those signs have been there over 50 years now. But also over to the left, there's the U-Drive boat sign. That's the Valley's boat rental sign that was put up in 1933 and rejuvenated about 25 years ago. So that's quite historic also. Okay, next one. That is the first ferry boat that we know anything about. It's called the Teal, and it went into operation in 1909. W.C. Collins, the developer of Balboa Island, started the ferry service, and you can see it there in that picture. It's at about the same location that our Balboa landing is now, and there's obviously some kind of celebration going on, and that's the old hotel that the Valleys owned right in the background. And the guy sitting up at the bow of the boat, sitting down, that's John Watts, and he was a famous guy. He was the ferry captain. My dad loved John Watts. They were big buddies. Okay, next one. The ferry service didn't do well in the teens, and became erratic, and people began to complain, and John Watts disappeared, and so the city decided they needed a new ferry operator, and my dad, who was a real estate salesman on Balboa Island, had no idea. I don't think he was ever going to be in the ferry business, but they got to him, and he stepped up, and that's his first ferry boat. It's called the Ark. It was 18 feet long with an outboard on it. Next. So he improved on that pretty quickly, and he bought this boat, which was named the Islander, And as you can see, it's got a canopy on it, very sophisticated. And the background here is kind of interesting too. The Island Boathouse was my dad's real estate office, and he also built boats there. And there, way in the background, you see that water tank. That was the water supply for Balboa Island until, I don't know exactly, but 1921 or 22, before they hooked up to the city water. So that was the first sophisticated ferry. So yeah, the next one. So
What was
this
what was the cable crossing photo or on the background? You see this?
Oh yeah, that refers to just an underground power cable.
Wow.
Yeah, they put up signs so that people wouldn't drag anchors into them, things like that,
interesting.
warnings. So the next slide shows a boat that they built, that my dad had built right there on Balboa Island, and it is called the Fat Ferry. Very appropriate name. And it held 20 people, and in this picture, it's pushing a car across the bay on a barge, and that was kind of a special operation then. This would have been probably 1920, and so it was difficult to load. They didn't have a landing like we have now where cars could roll on and off the ferry. They had to do a special deal on the beach, and it was difficult, and they charged $5 to take a car across the bay. It was a lot of money, 1920. Something I like about this, the boat on a mooring in the background was my dad's yacht, the Carolee. Okay, next. So this was 1922, and they decided they needed a really upscale ferry that would carry cars. You could drive the cars on and off. And this ferry was called the Joker, and it carried 2 cars. And it was built right there on Balboa Island, and lifted over the seawall and plonked in the bay. And this is the launching of the Joker, 1922. Next. There is the Joker in service with 2 vintage cars on board, plying the channel at about that same era. So in 1930, there was a demand for more service, so they decided to build a 3-car ferry, and here it is being turned from upside down to right side up, right there on Balboa Island. It's in the act of falling into that pile of sand on the left. So in the next picture, you'll see it in the pile of sand, and 2 little kids playing in the boat, and the guy in the background is my dad with a hat on. And those are my 2 brothers, Bart and Alan. Never would have thought they would become Caltech graduates. Looking at this picture, would you? Both very successful careers. There is the Commodore being launched in 1930. Beautiful, isn't it? 3-car ferry, big celebration. The sailboat in the background in that picture is a Snowbird. Double-digit number, I can't read it, 32, I think. Very old Snowbird. There is the Commodore in service with 3 cars. This would have been about early 30s, obviously, looking at the cars. And later, the Joker was modified to hold 3 cars. It was lengthened. And so the Commodore and the Joker were the 2 boats in service for about 20 years, from the 30s until the mid-50s. And there are the Commodore and the Joker in service, each with 3 cars. And you might notice that the Island Boathouse has been moved to the west about 100 feet. And a new building was erected there on the corner, which is still there. And it has my dad's name on it, J.B. It was his real estate office. And, oh, excuse me, one more thing. On the left there, there's the fuel dock had been built. The shell dock is there, so this was about 1937. Okay. Here we go with one of our more modern ferries, which are all built in the 1950s, and the Admiral, the Captain, and the Commodore. And you can see there have been a few modifications. There's a pilot house, and there's a gate on each end to contain people and cars, and The power is considerably different. They're powered with John Deere diesel engines now, and the original ferries were all powered by automobile engines that were converted. Next.
I love the Christmas boat parade banner on the side of the ferry.
Yeah, we should have that. Oh, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
it
Go
is.
back. Yeah, that is a Christmas boat parade banner.
Yeah.
So this is just a picture of one of the power plants that we have in it now. The John Deere engine it has a transmission on each end, and as there's a propeller on each end of the boat, and you engage one at a time. For you people that are technically inclined, the one clutch goes in, and the propeller on one end operates, and if you reverse it, the propeller on the other end operates. So you can go either way. And there it is, our beautiful modern ferry boat on the glassy waters of the harbor with all of the wonderful modifications. We were very happy with the way these boats perform. And then CARB came along and said, you've got to go electric. So we're going to go electric. We're probably going to get funding from CARB to do it. And we're probably going to build new boats that will be all electric. And the next slide shows what one of those electric boats might look like. Get it? There's a battery in the middle, and a positive and a negative. That's the way electric works.
Is this a Caltech drawing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, folks. That's the history up to today.
That's incredible, Seymour.
We aren't electric yet, but we probably will be.
Okay. And how many people take the ferry every year?
About 1.5 million.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great cocktail game party, by the way. How many people take the ferry? The guesses are all over the place, but very often they're not accurate usually. Well, thank you, Seymour. This was incredible. Do you want to say?
Quickly.
Yeah.
Seymour, I just wanted to say you're truly remarkable. I'm looking around, everybody is just wrapped with attention at what you're presenting. And the ferry is a remarkable historical resource for us, but you are just as remarkable and well loved in our community. And it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very much, Rat. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, terrific. Thank you, Seymour. Appreciate you coming out. All right, terrific. Madam Clerk, let's read the notice to the public.
The City Council of Newport Beach welcomes and encourages community participation. Public comments are generally limited to 3 minutes per person to allow everyone to speak. Written comments are encouraged as well. The City Council has a discretion to extend or shorten the time limit on agenda or non-agenda items.
Okay, terrific. Now's the time for council announcements or reports from council members on committee activities, and the time for council members to request an A1 item to be placed on the future agenda. Councilmember Weigand, do you have any announcements or reports?
Yes, I actually have a longer report than normal. I asked Leilani to put up a slide for us as your council appointee towards the vector control. We meet once a month to discuss items, and this one perked my interest at our last meeting. So we do this technique that at the vector control called sterile insect technique, irradiation. And so we basically create a bunch of mosquitoes. The mass rearing of insects take place in a special facility there at our office there in Garden Grove. And the male and female insects are separated, and ionized radiation is used to sterilize the male insects. So then we dispose of those male insects with our SIT truck. Right now we're doing a pilot project in Mission Viejo. And so they're released in the neighborhoods. And the sterile males, they compete with the wild males to mate with the females. And the females then lay eggs that are infertile and bear no offspring, reducing the mosquito population. So I thought it was pretty interesting that here in Orange County we're coming up with this pretty unique technique that is really in our home area. So, but using this method will reduce the population of the invasive Aedes mosquito using environmentally sound methods, and the SIT technique results in no offspring and a declining pest population, reducing the presence of specific breed of virus-spreading mosquitoes. So I thought it was pretty interesting. They've been working on this since 2022. And we have this pilot project on to year 5 in 2027, where we're working to, with a goal of weekly irradiation of 100,000 males by that time. So we've shown that it's working so far in our first go at this, so we're hoping that it continues to gain some steam. So pretty interesting stuff we deal with over there. So, and then my other report that I was going to share, and I had it from Simone. I wanted him at our, Simone Georges, our Deputy City Manager at Community Development, wanted to get an idea of what kind of their shop is doing. So he has the number of permits he provided for me of 561. In February, we did 561 permits with a total construction value of $22 million. So I thought that's pretty intense that our residents are interested in redoing their homes. We did 7 new homes plus 5 ADUs. I thought that was a good add to, because they spent a lot of time discussing ADUs. But inspections, they did 3,200 inspections, and I thought that's pretty intense for 1 month of February. So kudos to you guys over at Community Development, Simone. Your shop does a lot of work. They did 585 code enforcement cases that were open. So our residents, those that are building, are being looked at with a fine-tooth comb, and I think it's important that we do these, one, code enforcement cases, but also the total value, $222 million. That means our residents are interested in investing in our city. So as Councilman Avery once said, we were bullish in Newport Beach. I think we continue to be bullish in our city. So that's pretty interesting stats for just February. So thanks, Simone.
All right, terrific report. Anything else? We're good? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Bartow.
This past week, I had the opportunity to attend the Orange County Watershed Committee meeting. Part of the meeting, in addition to discussing ongoing efforts to improve water quality and supply, was a tour of our trash interceptor. And the group was really engaged and enthusiastic. They wanted to know about the potential for similar projects across the county, so maybe we started a trend. I also participated in the District 5 mayor's meeting and medical campus tour. They talked about how Be Well's changed a little bit of their approach to provide street medicine, which has helped additional chronically homeless get off the streets. So they're excited about what that might bring. We toured the newly developed medical campus on Jamboree, which has a state-of-the-art cancer center and a really supposedly amazing urgent care facility, though I haven't had to try it out, thankfully, and some advanced medical services. I'm also just passing 4 weeks into the Citizens Police Academy, which I highly recommend to our residents. It's very eye-opening, and it's a lot of fun as well. And I really enjoy learning about the amount of hard work that goes into all of that and all of their work, and we're so grateful for them. And then finally, I was able to be part of the Spirit Run. I did that with my daughter, and that was a lot of fun to raise money for local schools. The community was out in full force. It was a really fun morning.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Councilmember Grant.
Thank you. Quite a bit went on in the last couple of weeks, so I'll try and do this a little rapid fire. I want to mention that I attended the Association of California City Orange County's annual Sacramento advocacy trip with Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman, and we had a very successful week. We were part of a delegation of 40 city officials and community members from across the county. We engaged in meetings with legislators, agency representatives on key issues affecting the region. More important, Councilmember Kleiman and I focused our efforts in very productive meetings with more than a dozen legislators and staff to review and in some cases support proposed legislation relating to sober living facilities in our community. And we continue to work on an individual ad hoc in that capacity. So it was, as I mentioned, very fruitful to be there in Sacramento and meet with the legislators and the staff members directly on those matters. We had another highly successful mobile cafe over spring break at the Newport Pier on the peninsula, and it was a welcome opportunity to promote a safe holiday visit to our community by spring breakers. I also attended the Spirit Run. I started the dog run. That's kind of my thing, my annual thing. I want to thank Diane DeRudy and her team for, once again, all of their tireless work that goes into accomplishing the event and supporting our local schools. They are a marvelous team, and we should be very grateful to have such community volunteers. I attended the Oasis talent show. I think Leilani has a slide. Our very own Sean Levin was the MC as Jelvis Presley. He did a very good job, and you can see the seniors really enjoyed showing off all of their talents, and that was a really fun community opportunity. I also attended Assemblymember Diane Dixon's Woman of the Year, where she presented Newport Beach resident Lori Pack of the nonprofit Child Guidance Center of Orange County with a certificate recognizing her work offering early intervention for families in distress to achieving lifelong wellness. And Lori was one of many that received those, but she was the one from Newport Beach, so that was my honor to be there and congratulate her. I met with Councilmember Weber and residents and staff to discuss some important emergency evacuation for Newport Coast and the surrounding areas, and those are ongoing discussions, and we hope to move the needle in that agenda. And then last night I was with Mayor Stapleton at the Newport Beach Historical Society Gala, where we also had our esteemed resident Seymour Beek, and it was hosted by Bill Lobdell, who I call our historian laureate. I think he's a wonderful individual in helping us to maintain our history here in the city. He did a presentation on W.S. Collins, who we saw in those pictures, who is a very interesting early visionary in our city, but many thought of him as a con man. So it's an interesting story, and I hope many of you can learn more about that. I want to mention that the Newport Beach Animal Shelter gave each of our council members a Yeti cup with their logo on it. So thank you to the Newport Beach Animal Shelter. And finally, today I was at the County Board of Supervisors. Our former Senator Janet Wynn, who is now a supervisor, was recognizing many of the female electeds in our community, and she was very generous in providing us all with this beautiful plaque. And Councilmember Kleiman could not make it, so I brought her plaque with me.
Oh, should we do a photo?
Sure. There you go. There's your Women's Month plaque. Thank you. There you go. I guess that's all.
I think we need to up our budget for our plaques. Look at this thing. Jeez.
Pretty fancy.
Obviously, we're not doing that.
This is real gold.
Oh, that's real gold. Yeah, we're not doing that. All right, fair enough. Okay, anything else? Thank you, Councilmember Grant. Okay, Councilmember Blum.
I have nothing to add.
Nothing. Okay, great. Councilmember Weber.
Nothing.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman.
I'll just say ditto to some of Councilmember Grant's report. I too went up to Sacramento for the ACCOC trip and are lobbying on sober living bills.
Terrific. Okay. And then for me, I've been on the mayor's tour, which I'm loving. Somehow I thought this was a January, February thing. Now it's March, heading into April, and I continue to give the state of the city all around town, which I love, helping communicate with residents. I did attend the Laguna Beach Mayor's Luncheon with Alex Renagi as the mayor of Laguna, so that was fun. I did attend the Spirit Run, and then I just want to give kudos to Eagle 4, Scott Easton, and the Newport Beach Country Club in Vea for the Hogue Classic. I mean, what a world-class event in the city, and brought thousands of people out, and I think City Council should take credit for the weather. I know the Chamber will try to do that, but I'll take credit up here. We had perfect weather all weekend, and Jimenez winning on the 18th hole with a birdie was just a highlight. So a great champion for that, the Champions Tour with the PGA. So well done to that team. I did attend the Newport Beach Historical Society. Great job with them. And then last night, I got to attend and deliver a certificate to the Navy League to Admiral Swift. He's a 4-star admiral, retired, and he was in charge of the entire Pacific Fleet. So he had an incredible story to tell. He read a speech from 2017, and it might as well have been written yesterday. So a lot of these world problems haven't changed. And then today I presented to Pacific Sotheby's Realty with the CEO and gave some realtors a state of the city. So that was it. Lots going on. Good work, team. Madam Clerk, please read the notice regarding public comments on consent calendar.
This is the time in which council members may pull items from the consent calendar for discussion, items 1 through 11. Public comments are also invited on consent calendar items. Speakers must limit comments to 3 minutes. Before speaking, please state your name for the record. If any item is removed from the consent calendar by a council member, members of the public are invited to speak on each item for up to 3 minutes per item. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered to be routine and will all be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. Council members have received detailed staff reports on each of the items recommending an action. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the City Council votes on the motion unless members of the City Council request specific items to be discussed and are removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
Okay, Councilmember Wygan, do you have any items to pull from the consent calendar or conflicts to announce related to items 1 through 11?
I do not.
Okay, great. Bartow?
I do not.
Grant?
None.
Blom?
None.
Weber?
None.
Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman?
None.
Okay, only me. I'm going to recuse from item number 7 for potential conflict of real property due to personal residence, and then I'm going to recuse on number 8 because of Levine Act based on campaign contributions from Michael Gelfand, the owner. Okay, do I have a motion? Oh, sorry. Do we have a motion?
I move the consent calendar, noting the amendment to item number 1, the minutes, and recusal by Mayor Stapleton on items number 7 and 8.
Okay, terrific. Do I have a second? Okay, Councilmember Weber seconds. Okay, now we'll have public comments on consent calendar items 1 through 11. Any public comments?
Good evening, Adam Leverins. I just wanted to mention item 3, which is an ordinance related to single short-term lodging permits. There's a rather compelling letter from somebody out in the front, which I hope you have all read. I'll just take opportunity to say this again. Given the housing crisis and quality of life issues, I think long-term lodging in residential areas is something to be aspired for. And then on agenda item 9, related to the food services over at the library here. There's a proposed menu on there. I looked through it. The lowest cost item I saw is brulee toast for $7. It looks like cinnamon toast or cherry toast or something like that. And then there's an egg sando for $10, a number 11 and $12 items. With the number of young students I see over here, or grown-ups accompanying children, sometimes 2, 3, 4 children, I would encourage a menu section for children or perhaps students and make something more reasonable for people of lesser means that are often over here. Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Next comment.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council members. Denise Oberman for the record. In the event that you haven't read the correspondence that was sent in by myself and some other residents, I'd ask you to refer to that to complete the testimony I'm going to give in the remaining less than 3 minutes. So, relative to this item 3, the council is proposing something that is going to actually detract from the ability to manage the transition of short-term lodging permits so that we can, as a city, achieve a reduction in the STLs in residential areas and facilitate the reallocation of some of the allowed permits to the mixed-use areas. In late 2023, this was a very passionate discussion. There was a lot of consideration, testimony on the part of council and the community, and at that time, the community was happy that the council was considering the impacts and the reallocation of some short-term lodging into mixed-use areas, with the understanding that a condition would be that the total maximum cap for short-term lodging units not exceed the maximum cap that had previously been vetted and approved by the city and also by the Coastal Commission, which was 1,550. So at the time, residents expressed some concern, which remains today, that it would not be feasible to get a net reduction in the short-term lodging permits in residential areas just by what staff had characterized as quote-unquote attrition. So a path was requested where staff would come forward with a specific plan so that there could be confidence that in fact there could be a reduction in the residential number of units. So we asked repeatedly for information as community members, and we finally, with the help of some of the city council members, which I thank you for, were enabled to obtain information from the city, public information, so we could determine what's the flow of permits, what's going on with the permits, and is in fact it feasible to expect that there could be a reduction through attrition. So, and when we asked for that information, we asked for it with a 24-month tail just to make sure to test the reasonableness and the feasibility. So the information that we got, just very quickly, at the time, and it's always a snapshot in time, 2 permits suspended, 0 revoked, 44 transfers completed. The transfers were essentially a level, steady state, primarily driven through sales of property rather than intra-family transfers. 3 to 4 permits, quote, abandoned or expired. May I have another minute, please?
30 seconds.
What you're proposing here today is going to interfere with the city's ability to accomplish the goal of the reallocation, and we object to giving the finance director unilateral authority to adjudicate and indefinitely postpone actions that are within our regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Next comment, please.
Mayor Stapleton, members of the council, my name is Jim Mosier. Regarding item number 3, which the last 2 speakers have spoken about, giving city staff more authority to excuse short-term lodging permit holders from missing deadlines that they're supposed to meet. I continue to think that the ordinance is not as well written as it should be, but as to the comments from Ms. Oberman, I would note that there seems to be some discrepancy as to the information the city is providing as to the rate at which things come off the waiting list for new permit applicants. Giving the city staff more authority will slow down that rate, but it's unclear what the current rate is. Ms. Oberman seems to have been informed that only 3 or 4 new applications come off the waiting list each year. And yet in a slide that was presented at your February 1st planning session, the council was told that the turnover was something like 40 or more permits coming off the waiting list each year. So I think it would be useful for you to correctly inform the public as to what that rate is. And then secondly, as to item number 9, the library food concession, which one of the other speakers also mentioned. Normally, when something goes through a bidding process, in this case, to choose a tenant there for the next 5 to 15 or maybe even more years, the council is informed kind of what the competition was and why the decision was made. In this case, the staff report is very terse. It just says 17 different vendors applied and were considered, and somehow one was chosen. We don't know who those other possibilities could have been for the next 5 to 15 years. We don't even know if the library board or even library staff participated in whether it was an appropriate choice for an entrance to a library. So I think that could be clarified as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, seeing none. Any additional comments by council? Okay, well, let's vote.
Prior to reading the vote, I'll read the ordinance title for item 3, ordinance 2025-4, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newport Beach, amending section 1.8.120, definitions of Title I, general provisions, section 5.95.42, maximum number of permits, section 5.95.43, transfer of permit, and section 5.95.65, suspensions and revocations of chapter 5.95, short-term lodging permit of Title V, business licenses and regulations of the Newport Beach Municipal Code to update administrative procedures related to good cause determinations and the extension of deadlines. The motion carries unanimously, 7-0.
Okay, thank you. Now's the time for public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. Okay, seeing none, we're going to go to current business. So we're going to go to item number 12, ordinance number 2025-5, amendment to section of the Newport Beach Muni Code related to timeframes for completion of construction. Do we need a staff report on this? No? Okay. Nope. Okay, great. Kleiman, do you have a comment? Mayor Pro Tem?
Just quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I just want to say I really appreciate staff taking a second look and bringing this back. I think the new proposed ordinance strikes the right balance between the necessary flexibility for construction projects, which often have unpredictable or unavoidable delays, and consideration for impacts on the neighboring residents. Obviously, we want to incentivize builders to get projects done on time and also encourage best management practices. So I think that we should get there with this.
Okay, terrific. Seeing nothing else up here, do we have any public comments on this item?
Mayor Stapleton, members of the council, my name again is Jim Mosier, and I point out the preceding announcement about public comments was a little confusing because it was not clear if that was the opportunity to comment on this, which is your only agenda item, or if this opportunity would be coming up. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to comment. And the comment I would make is the idea here is to get projects completed on time. We seem to have a program that is encouraging that a little bit, but at least in my mind, there's still a little lack of clarity as to how this program works. A person who does not complete their project on time is offered these opportunities to get an extension, first from the building officer, then from a hearing officer, and then possibly from the city council. In each of those cases, the decision is final and not appealable. So if they are denied at any of those stages, their building permit is no longer valid. So they have a partially completed project that might have gone on for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. And despite the little bit of progress they had when their permit is taken away, now they can't legally do anything. And as I understand from the staff report, in that case, it goes to the city attorney, and the city attorney makes some arrangement with them. And I'm not quite understanding how that arrangement works. I'm not sure anybody has been required to demolish their unfinished project. So does the city attorney have the power to tell them, even though they don't have a building permit, they can go on? How long do they go on? You might be asking, what is the longest project that is still uncompleted in our city? I don't know, and I didn't get that from the staff report. So I think we could get some more clarity on what happens. I don't think projects are actually being demolished. And if this lets them then stand forever without being completed, I'm not sure it's totally achieving what we want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back up here. Any additional council comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion. Okay, Robin, Councilman Grant, we have a motion to a second. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman, let's vote.
Prior to reading the vote, I'll read the ordinance title for Ordinance 2025-5, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newport Beach amending Section 15.2.95, Section 105.3.4 of the Newport Beach Municipal Code related to timeframes for completion of construction. The motion carries unanimously, 7-0.
Okay, terrific. Madam Clerk, please read the announcement for motion for reconsideration.
A motion to reconsider the vote on any action taken by the City Council at either this meeting or the previous meeting may be made only by one of the council members who voted with the prevailing side.
Okay, any motions for reconsideration? Seeing none. Okay, so before we recess to closed session, we're going to do the adjournment in memory of Mary Romeo and Fran Ursini. So why don't you start us off, Councilmember Weber?
Mary was born on September 8th, 1929 in Santa Ana Hospital, where her parents were both doctors. She grew up in Santa Ana, graduating from Santa Ana High and Community College. At 20, she moved to Honolulu to study at the University of Hawaii. While spending Christmas with her cousin at Pearl Harbor, she met a young sailor, Ed Romeo. They married in 1951 at the Submarine Base Chapel and welcomed their first daughter, Donna, soon after. After Ed's Navy discharge, they settled in Santa Ana, where Mary embraced life as a devoted wife and a mother to 3 daughters, Donna, Kathy, and Christy. She was active in the PTA, school events, and always present for her family. In 1969, they moved to Harborview Hills in Corona Del Mar, a choice Mary championed. And if anyone has the opportunity, should definitely ask Ed for the entire story on how they purchased that home. Mary became a fixture in the community, volunteering with the Philharmonic Society, Garden Club, and especially Oasis Senior Center, where she gave decades of service. Mary passed away peacefully on March 11th, surrounded by loved ones. She leaves behind her husband of 74 years, Ed, their 3 daughters, 2 sons-in-laws, 4 grandchildren, and a great-grandson. I also do want to note that today would have been their 75th wedding anniversary. A celebration of Mary's life will be held on April 13th at the Oasis Senior Center from 12 to 2. And in lieu of flowers, the family asked that you donate to the Exchange Club of Newport Harbor.
Ed's here tonight. Well, happy anniversary, 75 years. I'd love to hear that story. I'm assuming it's something to do with didn't want to do it, but very happy you did it now. The house purchase since the 60s, I'm sure. Well, thank you. 74th.
Oh, man.
We'll let the record show.
Well, one for good measure.
Yeah. Well, she's in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Okay. Councilman Wygan, you're going to do adjournment for Fran Orsini.
Yes, this evening we'll also adjourn tonight's meeting in the memory of Francis Fran Orsini, a beloved pillar of our community who recently passed away at the age of 86. The longtime Newport Beach resident, known affectionately as Big Fran, owned and managed several Newport Beach businesses and was co-founder of the family-owned Newport Rib Company. Though modest in stature at 5'5", Fran's presence in the community was anything but small. His larger-than-life personality and dedication to service left a lasting impression on all those who knew him. A man of integrity and strength, Fran was known for his no-nonsense attitude, whether it was keeping order at the restaurant, volunteering for the Kiwanis Club, or serving as CIF football referee for over 50 years. Fran's journey began in Chicago, where he was born in 1938. He later moved to Costa Mesa with his wife Karen and their young son in 1965, seeking opportunities on the West Coast. He managed and operated several local businesses, including the Surfer, Hadley's, a roller skate rental shop, Togo's Pizza Station, the Substation, and the Patio Cafe, always providing employment opportunities for our local youth. In 1984, he co-founded the Newport Rib Company, which became a cherished community institution known not just for its food, but also for its philanthropic contributions to local organizations. Fran built a life centered around family, work, and community, fulfilling his dream of running a business with his children while giving back to those who supported him. He is survived by his wife and sister, 3 children, and cherished grandchildren. A memorial service will be held on April 5th at 11 a.m. at the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection in Huntington Beach, followed by a reception at the Costa Mesa Golf Course. Thank you.
Terrific. Yeah. What a legend, for sure. Well, thank you both for those. We'll now go to closed session. Mr. Harp, do you have a closed session announcement?
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council will adjourn to closed session to meet with the city's real property negotiators regarding negotiations with John Saunders on behalf of 3848 Campus Drive LP regarding 3848 Campus Drive. Negotiations with John Palmer on behalf of Junkins 12 Corporate Plaza LLC and the Irvine Company regarding the property at 12 Corporate Plaza Drive, and negotiations with Linda Sadagi on behalf of the Balboa Theater Company regarding 77 East Balboa Boulevard. And the City Council will also meet with labor negotiators regarding negotiations with all unions. Thank you.
Okay, we stand recessed. Thank you. Okay, we're back in session. Mr. Harp, is there a closed session report?
Thank you, Mayor. There's no closed session report this evening.
We're adjourned. Thank you.